Welcome into this week's episode of Marv on Air. Today is Thursday, December 19th, 2024. We got a lot to cover. College football playoffs starting almost immediately after this airs. And then obviously the NFL playoff picture is heating up as well. We've got some basketball to talk and a few Heisman conversation type award-winning conversations to have as well to round out this episode. Zero to Hero is going to be legendary today, obviously, so stick around for that right after this. Look at this guy.
Hammer! Whoa, close! Oh my God, I should pop off on your ass about the Coke.
We feed family.
Come on, bro.
You're right, Tony.
1 sec.
Iowa State is going to win this game.
Now I'm a bronsexual and go Bron.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 guys in studio for this call today. We're going to be breaking down sports, everything happening currently, and we're probably going to miss a lot of it, but I hope we cover the very important stuff. I'm just going to go straight to the quad box, as we do have the full couch. Both of these guys, actually, we're going to go straight to that actually first. Look at how special these guys dressed for this essentially Christmas episode.
Special's a great word. Special's the best word to use for it, I'd say.
They really dressed up, and then Hunter in the sweater there. I brought out my nicest sweatshirt, and Chase wearing the non-typical sighting. Shout out there. Big time, big moves. We're obviously all ready to talk sports at this point in time. First things first, we got to talk college football playoffs because that's happening. If this airs Thursday, then tomorrow, right? Red, who is playing on Friday night in the college football playoff? The first game of the 12-team college football playoff.
Yeah, the first game of the inaugural 12-team playoff is Indiana at Notre Dame in South Bend, Indiana. This is one of those cool games because these two teams are actually geographically fairly close to each other, and they both fan bases, though they don't like play each other a ton. You don't think of Notre Dame, Indiana; they don't really play, but both fan bases are close to each other, so it's one of those rivalries that we've really started to see grow in the last week now, just because those are fans that are near each other, but they're not normally going at each other because they have no reason to. So we kind of get to see that for the first time on a big stage for Indiana and Notre Dame.
Well, what's interesting too is that a lot of IU fans were kind of Notre Dame fans of football because there's not a whole lot else going, as far as Indiana goes for football. It's kind of been below the radar, bad below the radar, not like good, sneaky, like actually just not a good team. And then they bring in the guy, their guy. It's
Kirk Cignetti.
Curt Cignetti, yes. Sig, how could you forget a last name like that? That's on me 100%. But they bring in Curt Cignetti, 10-0 to start the season, and now IU fans are like, okay, now we don't only have to root for basketball. Now we can actually look towards this football program, and now they're, obviously in the playoff, making a lot of noise. Chase, our kind of Big Ten correspondent, what's going on down there in the Big Ten, and what teams are watching this thinking they want IU to win?
Maybe Big Ten teams in Georgia, because I think Notre Dame's probably the better team. I think Georgia would rather see Indiana for sure. But other than that, I think a lot of people think Indiana is fraudulent just because of their strength of schedule. So, I don't have a particular – I would rather see Indiana win just because fuck Notre Dame, first off.
Fair.
But I don't think they'll get it done.
Interesting.
What do you got? Something against Catholics, man?
Yeah, what the? It seemed
Not
a little
personally,
targeted.
No, it's just Notre Dame.
He's
Okay.
English. He hates the Irish. That's how it goes. He hates the good old Irish. Better watch out there, Marv.
The fighting Irish. Yeah, I don't know why that.
You
feel
feel
like
there, Colin Kermeans.
You sound like
Colin
Peggy the
Kermeans.
Pirate from SpongeBob right now.
Arr, matey, arr, arr.
Are Irish people pirates? Is that like a thing? Because they kind of do sound
That's where it
similar.
came from.
Leprechauns.
I'm sure there were some Irish pirates.
Yeah, maybe there's American pirates too. Buccaneers. We'll get to that later.
Baker Mayfield,
Yeah, we'll
American
get to that
pirate.
later. He is kind of the epitome of pirate. I will 100% agree with that. So, IU Notre Dame going to be the first game to start off this 12-team playoff. Hopefully, it lives up to the hype. But then there's 3 more games. There are 4 games in total in this first round. Red, can you lay out the other 3 games when they happen, which ones are important, and then I'll ask Hunter what he thinks of one of those in particular.
Yeah, on Saturday, we're going to have 3 games. All these times are going to be in Eastern time. SMU, Penn State, that kicks off at 11. Clemson, Texas, that's the 3 o'clock game. And then Tennessee, Ohio State is your nightcap coming in at 7 o'clock.
Interesting. Okay, so Tennessee That one I'm looking at specifically, mostly because their mascot did the whole Wicked dance thing at their basketball halftime show, so he's got my attention. I'm locked in on Tennessee. But Hunter, what do you make of that game? What do you make of, I guess, really the Tennessee game is what I'm interested in here.
Yeah, I was going to say the other two games I think are going to be a blowout for both Penn State and Texas. No way SMU is going to put up a fight against the Lions, okay? With that being said, Tennessee, Ohio State, this is going to be the best game of the entire first round. And I think whoever wins this game will go to the national championship and will beat Oregon.
Interesting. What a call. Very interesting. One thing I
They
did
play
mention.
Oregon next. You know that, right?
Yeah, I meant they'll beat Oregon.
Okay,
to go to
yeah. Okay, I was just clarifying, making sure.
Good clarification.
Texas
there.
might have something to say about that, but that's just the way I'm taking it.
I don't think Texas is as good as we maybe thought up until this point. Obviously the losses to Georgia just don't look good. They just don't. One thing we haven't mentioned up until this point, very important news. The average price to get into these games, per like the actual, not the resale price, but where you can buy them from, Penn State, SMU, it's like $59 is the lowest ticket price. That is insane. What's going on there? What?
Did you see Indiana?
Because
Notre Dame?
the other ones,
That one's crazy.
over 500 for all three, I think, at
Yeah.
base level.
Get in price.
Yeah,
was
get in,
500.
and then resale. So I think that one was over 1,000.
Oh, easily.
It was like 1,032.
Indiana versus Notre Dame is like that state Super Bowl. That's like having
It
the
really is.
Cyhawk. That's like having the Cyhawk in the playoffs. Like people are. That's pretty much a once in a lifetime thing. Because I don't think those two teams are going to get matched up again in the next 50 years.
It would be if the Cyhawk wasn't played yearly, and all of a sudden in the first 12-team playoff,
Bang.
first time the home games can be played in a playoff. Now they're playing it.
Right.
So I
Your
feel like
friend
there's just
who's
a
a Notre
lot
Dame
of
fan.
built-up rivalry here.
Your
Would
Notre
you compare
Dame.
that to A&M in Texas? Similar situation.
On a
Yeah.
smaller scale, yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say your friend that you've been talking shit to for your entire life. Now they have their chance to prove who they are and who belongs here. This is
In the
huge
playoff.
for everybody in
Yeah.
the playoff.
I oddly
Matt.
think that Indiana would be Texas in that scenario, and Notre Dame would be A&M. Just because A&M and Notre Dame fan bases both have like superiority complexes that is just insane. They're just not right. You know what I mean? Like, why does A&M think they're so cool? They're not. Same with Notre Dame.
But then again, a lot of people cheer for Texas, but they didn't go to Texas. You know what
Correct.
I mean?
A lot of people cheer for Notre Dame, I guess, and they didn't go to Notre Dame.
They didn't fucking go to Notre
But I
Dame.
think that's why there's probably a
99%.
lot of resentment in this game from IU fans, because they're like, we've been here the whole time. Where a lot of you Notre Dame fans, you guys jumped ship. Like, even though you maybe went to Indiana, you're cheering for Notre Dame because that's the team you always cheered for, and they were always better, so it's the easier thing to do. So I think that Indiana fans are probably more fired up for this game than Notre Dame, just because Notre Dame's probably just always viewed them as little brother, especially when it comes to football.
Yeah. So on that same vein, obviously talking about ticket prices, the Penn State game being so cheap. Before this, a couple weeks ago, we were looking at, could Iowa State sneak in, and who would they face, and like where would we go to watch them play if they did face a Notre Dame? That'd be sick. It's not that far, and we haven't been to. Is it South Bend, right?
Yep.
We haven't been to South
We
Bend yet.
actually have been to South Bend.
We've been
just not to
around
campus.
it. Yeah, we've been very near it, but not necessarily boots on the ground in there. But was Penn State in that conversation? Yes. Could we go back out to a Penn State game when we went to the whiteout game, environment was unbelievable. Like, simply, you could not wrap your mind around it. But that does not seem to be the case. It seems like they're going to be filling it up with people who might not care that much about the game. Do you think that IU Notre Dame will be the best environment in the first round of the playoffs?
I don't think so. I think that Texas probably has a very good shot at being better. I think that they're going to be fired up with Dabo coming to town. And I also think Ohio State. I mean, Tennessee is coming to town. Those are two fan bases who are obnoxious in like bad ways. I would say Philly's obnoxious in a good way in professional sports. These two teams are obnoxious in bad ways. They're just not cool fan bases. So that one's going to be mean. I think that it's a night game in Columbus, playoffs. And the fan base oddly somehow also hates their team. So
yeah.
it's going to be just a weird energy in that stadium, and I think it'll be rowdy.
I agree. I think if Columbus, if Ohio State ends up going down early, they're almost going to be fighting the crowd themselves. I don't think it's going to be very much a home field advantage in that game just because of the way that this year went, obviously losing to Michigan. And Chase, we'll ask you, you went to a game at the Horseshoe. What was that environment like? Was it just head turning? Is this something, obviously Tennessee fans are, I would use the word rabid. They are legitimately wild, and it's awesome. I'm a huge fan. It's not a knock. But what is that? What's that environment going to look like? Is it going to be like, you think 90-10 Columbus, Ohio State fans, or can maybe Tennessee fans invade there? And how loud can it get there?
I mean, from the Iowa game, Ohio State expected to win that game. Iowa came in as the big underdog, so they weren't like they still packed it very well. I would say Tennessee could still have a good amount of people. Iowa always travels well. We had a decent fan section there, but I never got like outstanding loud, especially compared to Kinnick. I would say I think Kinnick is a better environment. Might be a hot take, but this is a way bigger game than the Iowa-Ohio State game was, obviously. So I expect a lot louder of an environment. Ohio State will definitely pack it better. Tennessee, I think, travels well, though. So probably I'd bet around closer to that 70-30 range percentage-wise. I would see Hunter shaking his head at me.
It's going to be way closer. It's going to be way tighter. This is SEC football. They don't fucking play around. They have a million people that go to Tennessee. Knoxville's only, I just looked it up, 5.5 hours away from Columbus. That's an easy drive, hour 10 flight. It's like butter. That's cake. Another thing, my coworker went to Ohio State, and he said that they're selling student tickets for $50. So they will be packing the stadium for however many tickets they sold there. So, yeah, Ohio State obviously going to sell out their section of the stadium, and then whatever tickets are left over are going to be sold to Tennessee fans, I'm guessing. And this is going to be obviously a packed game, but I don't think it's going to be 70-30. I think it's going to be around like 60-40, maybe 50-50, even 55-45, something like that.
Wow. That's going to be
50-50.
The SEC don't play.
The SEC would be shocked if it's over 80-20.
Really? I would as well, but I also see where Hunter's coming from. The SEC kind of invading that Big Ten.
Tennessee's home stadium? There's no way fans there.
The problem is it's more – I agree with you in terms of like fan bases. It's more the way they sell the tickets. The tickets are sold like all season ticket holders for Ohio State get first dibs at the tickets. So they already have an advantage there. Like before Tennessee even has the chance to buy them, Ohio State season ticket holders are already buying those up. So Tennessee, they only get those tickets. It's pretty much almost the exact same as if it were an actual true home game, where if you're the away team, it's going to be harder to get your university's only allotted, I think, like 1,000 tickets or something like that.
Right.
And then you have like 500 for student tickets or something like that because it's technically a bowl game, and then like 500 for like friends and family or whatever of the players. So everything outside of those like 2,000 tickets or whatever that Ohio State has to give Tennessee, everything else is going to have to be essentially resold to Tennessee fans by Ohio State fans.
Shout out SeatGeek for this stat. 43% of Tennessee Ohio State tickets sold on SeatGeek have gone to Tennessee residents.
That's correct. A second like dealer though.
That's the second.
It's the second party
deal. That's
the second party seller.
That's 42% of the tickets that are sold.
But if they're only selling 10% of the total tickets for that game, so they have 40% of 10%.
Realistically, what is that percentage though that's sold secondhand? Probably.
I think it's around like
25.
No, I think it's higher than that.
I bet it's higher.
50?
It's probably 30.
Well, I guess that's where it's with a playoff
40.
game. Season ticket holders are going to want to be there for it, so it could be as low as 20.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, so you're talking about 10% of 20. You're talking about
OSU President Ted Carter is saying about 35% is what he's estimating. Tennessee.
Ooh. Okay. Still, I mean, 65-35, pretty close to 50-50.
That would be shocking visually.
That would be sick because they're going to be wearing bright orange too, and they are going to stand out. And if Tennessee makes noise, I almost wonder if it is going to be kind of a Ohio State fans turn.
Yeah, there's going to be some rowdy fans in the crowd.
100%.
Those people from Ohio, they don't know how to fight. So this is going to be a great fight to watch, or this is going to be a great battle on and off the field. I wish they had live streams of just the bleachers and the nosebleeds just so we could see what was going on out there.
Ohio State fans are going to be actually, we talked about this after they lost to Michigan, kind of like how did this pump up the rivalry even more? And our, I guess, kind of consensus was Ohio State fans kind of hate themselves, the team, more than they hate Michigan after that loss. So I would be interested to see what happens, if they do lose this first round after this was the team of destiny, one of the best teams on paper a college football team has ever assembled. Really quick in there. Yes, good call. Shout out SeatGeek, code Marvel gets you $20 off if you're going to any of these, events. Really, they have tickets to everything, but this is not a huge promo. I don't really care. Cole, I am interested. We've talked a little bit about best environment. Kind of looked at like some timing and such. Which of these games do you think is going to be the most entertaining to watch? Which one do you think will come down to the wire, maybe a last-second drive or a go-ahead touchdown? Which one do you foresee being the most enjoyable watch?
Yeah, well, I think Texas is going to handle Clemson. I think Notre Dame's going to handle Indiana. What I see being most fun is probably Tennessee, Ohio State. I mean, probably the same answer a lot of people would have.
Mm-hmm.
But
not even a sentence about SMU, huh?
Well, I was going to get there. I was just going to say,
take it easy on them.
I was just going to say, I know Hunter is heavy on the Nittany Lions for this game, but I think Penn State has a very low margin of error in this game, considering
I would agree.
They're a Big Ten team. They got a heavy, stout defense. They can score, but they're not going to drop 42, 49, 56 points on you, whereas SMU, they have that ability to drop 42 points on you. So I think if Penn State's not careful, they might, give up a touchdown or two here and there that they weren't anticipating, and SMU might sneak out.
That was I don't know who's favored in that game. Do you know off the top of your head?
Penn State
8.5, Penn State.
8.5.
Oh, I take SMU to cover that
Yeah.
every day of the week, twice on Sundays. We all know how Penn State and James Franklin play in big games.
I'd take the under, though. It's at 54.5.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd take the over, I think.
I would
like
take
the over.
I like the over if SMU covers, but
It'll be
also
I
am
think
a horrible
SMU
gambler.
puts up 25
21-17 SMU. That's what I'm thinking.
I'm going to go 45-21 SMU.
I don't think Penn State gets over.
I'll take that,
21.
but for Penn State. 45-21.
I think SMU averages like 38, though, so consider that playing a Big Ten defense. I think 21's pretty reasonable guess
fair.
for it.
Yeah.
I would kill myself if I saw SMU in the Fiesta Bowl.
Bowls on a rotating basis.
One thing I do know is that out of the four teams who everybody's kind of just writing off and saying there's absolutely no chance that this team wins, and everybody, it seems like there's no like consensus like, oh, this team is for sure not winning. One of the lower seeds is going to win on either Friday or Saturday. I don't know which one, but one of them is going to win.
Yeah.
It just comes down to finding the right one.
Agreed. And unfortunately, with the addition of Cole, which is much appreciated, big shout out to Cole for coming into studio. We don't have the graphic up anymore of the actual bracket. And I don't know if we'll do an episode next week because I think, what is next week? Like literally Christmas?
Christmas on Wednesday.
It would be
Christmas is a week from
Day.
today.
Yeah, so it's like we're probably not going to shoot an episode.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be free.
I don't know if that's going to work. So the games from this weekend, like these winners will go on to play next weekend then, correct?
Yep.
And we've got a ton of football in the next 2 weeks.
Weekend. The Fiesta Bowl is on Tuesday. Oh wait, no, it's a New Year's Six Bowl. Sorry, apologies.
There you go. There you go. So, I mean, we've got NFL and college ball out the wazoo. Who has the second, the easiest second game, do you think here, Red? You've got it pulled up. I'm sure you do. Boise State, obviously, in that mix. ASU has been slept on. And then it's Oregon and Georgia. Georgia been, people had question marks there. And then in-house, before we recorded, we were talking about Oregon. Close games early in the year. Idaho was the one that always comes to mind.
Boise State.
Yeah, Boise State, 3-point win there.
Wisconsin.
A lot of, these top, the top four teams, the ones with a bye, it's like, which one of the, I could see any one of those teams slipping up. Which one do you think is most likely to fall to a first-round winner?
Yeah, I think Georgia is the one team that I feel pretty confident in. They'll win whatever game they have next. I feel like Kirby Smart, with extra time to prepare and extra rest, he's at least going to be able to coach his team to winning one playoff game this year. Will they win another? I'm starting to have second thoughts about that. But I could see, something tells me that if SMU is really the team that they can be, just because they're like the no-name version of Ohio State, basically, where they just bought all their players. They have this insane roster. If they're as good as they can be, like on paper, I don't see why they don't beat Penn State. and I don't see why they're not then able to handle Boise State. And I think they could be a team that ends up sneaking in if they're able to get by Penn State.
Totally agree.
Yeah,
I think
think
SMU's going to the semifinals.
don't hate it.
That's where I'm at right now.
I don't hate it. Hunter, is Oregon going to fall? I mean, you talked about them obviously with if winner of Tennessee, Ohio State, they're going to trample
Tennessee
Oregon. I guess
beats Ohio State by a little bit, Oregon's going to beat them. If they crush Ohio State, Tennessee's going to beat Oregon. If Ohio State beats Tennessee at all, they're beating Oregon. Ohio
Chase, who's your-
State's in the national championship for me.
Chase, who's your champion?
It's tough.
It's not. It's Georgia.
There's
No
actually a
dogs.
1 in 12 chance here. So
That's not great odds. I don't love it. I like Georgia. I really do, just because they have a pretty easy route to it. I think they're the best team in that bottom half by like a mile. I don't think it's necessarily close. But this year's been oddly weird where good teams get beat a lot. So anything can happen, and that's what really makes this 12-team playoff so great.
interesting.
What's the status of Carson Beck?
Is
I
he
don't
still
care.
dead? Yeah.
Broken.
I think they're actually
Eventually.
better
Better
without
without
him.
You
Yeah,
think
I think
Gunnar
they're starting.
Stockton's going to be the guy? Step up?
Yep. That's what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
They're going to start him.
His name is Gunner.
Gunnar
He's
Stockton.
gonna be the Tua.
Winner.
That is the white person name of the year.
Yeah, I was going to take Arizona State after witnessing them dismantle Iowa State, but now
Crack of the
knowing that Georgia has a guy named Gunner as a gunslinger, I don't know how you could pick
It's
against
tough.
them. That is tough. Do you
Well, who's the Ole Miss guy? He was a lock for a name pick.
Jackson
Jackson
Dart?
Jackson
Yeah,
Dart.
dude, that's a
Jackson with like an X.
Hey, do you guys see? We'll get to this later in the show, so we're not diving into this conversation. But do you guys see Commander Booty jumped into the transfer portal again?
Oh shit!
You mean General?
General Booty.
General.
excuse me.
General.
I was
I
just Commander's his
upgraded him.
brother.
I upgraded
Lieutenant
him.
Booty.
Oh man, that was awesome. There's a lot of transfer portal news coming out, and Chase is going to kind of head that conversation in just a little bit. But that one stepped out to me. That one was, oh man, I love that guy. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking at here for the college football side of things. If you guys have anything extra you want to toss in, just let me know. I'm not trying to jump the gun here, but there is a lot of things going on in the NFL as well. We are at that time of year. Things absolutely fired up extremely, extremely quickly. It feels like just yesterday was week 1 of the NFL season. We've had injuries left and right. We've had teams go on runs. Teams we thought were going to be absolutely amazing fall to the depths of the number 1 pick overall. Okay, projection at least. But there are a few teams that we thought were going to be good, and they are certainly in that race. Redden, I'll start with you. We had this conversation yesterday. Who is coming out of the AFC as things currently sit? We won't be doing the actual handicap hour this week. I want to clarify that really quickly. We kind of scrapped that idea, especially at this point in the season. This is much more important to talk about. Who is coming out of the AFC? And actually, you go with that where you will.
Yeah, right now the AFC in terms of actual contenders, I feel like is probably a 2.5 horse race. But right now we have 4 teams that have locked up a playoff spot. Chiefs, Bills, Steelers, and the Texans have officially won the AFC South, so they will be getting that 4th spot there. This one's tricky. To me, it's going to be Bills, Chiefs in the AFC Championship again. I don't see really a way that doesn't happen unless for whatever reason maybe somebody can trip up the Chiefs because they've just been playing down to people's level this year, and it feels like I don't think it would happen to them in the playoffs. The playoffs seems like the one time where they know to lock in. They seem to do that better than anybody.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, it doesn't feel like past Chiefs years where it was like they're beating teams that they should beat by a lot, and they're beating like Josh Allen by a field goal with .001 second left. So this season's got me a little worried if I were a Chiefs fan. What do you think?
I was going to say, resident Chiefs fan, in-house, Cole, what are your thoughts on the
Cole
Chiefs?
makes his money in the playoffs. That's where if the Chiefs don't perform in the playoffs, Cole loses hundreds of dollars, if not thousands.
Well, let me tell you what, been a profitable couple years for me, huh?
But
But
Chiefs are
other
pretty
than that,
Yep.
other than that, my biggest fear is that the Ravens are going to come in with a lower seed. We're going to have to face them early.
No.
That's tough. That's
what
tough.
the fuck was that?
That's it's tough to beat a team twice, which is going to play into a couple of views I have here. I'm not sure we can beat the Ravens again, but if we don't have to play the Ravens, I don't see anyone being a real threat until the AFC title game when we play the Bills. Whereas, like I said, tough to beat a team twice. I don't think the Bills beat us twice in the same year.
Interesting.
It seems they always beat us in the regular season, squeak one out in the playoffs, which is why I want to play the Bills and not the Ravens.
Well, here's how it actually. This is how it currently stands right now. If it were to end today, how it's projected and how everything would fall. Right now, the Chiefs would obviously have they'll bye. Be the 1 seed. But then if the Bills win, they're projected to play the Chargers at the 7 seed. Expect the Bills to probably win that game. Steelers then play the Broncos. Steelers are the 3 seed. So if they handle the Broncos and then the Ravens beat the Texans being the 4 seed, Ravens would be the bottom seed.
Play the Chiefs.
Ravens play the Chiefs.
Terrifying.
Interesting.
So then Chiefs would hypothetically have to probably go Ravens, Bills, Super Bowl, whoever they get.
Ravens, Bills,
Which is-
Lions is probably going to be our path.
A
or
gauntlet.
Ryan.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe throw the Eagles in there.
Maybe.
Yeah. We'll talk about the NFC in just a second here. And Cole, I'd like your opinion on the Chiefs and where did they sign this deal with the Devil? Do I need to potentially reach out to their attorney and do the same thing here? They seem to be getting everything to go their way. Doink in on the field goal against the Chargers. You could do it for every single week. It would waste time to mention them all. Is this Chiefs team, though, vulnerable? It feels like they're somehow just getting the ball to bounce their way. And there are years like where the Vikings 2 years ago went like 11-0 in one-score games. Sometimes you can sustain it all year. Can they keep this going into the playoffs? Are they playing down to other teams? Or is this where they're really at? Like, what are we expecting from these Chiefs? Because they don't look as good as years past.
Yeah, one thing I think is the skill gap in the NFL is not as big as people think.
Very minor.
I think that I think the Chiefs are just a little bit better of a team than a lot of people they played. Obviously, it's football, anything can happen, but I think we'll be able to squeak through for a little bit. Like I said, I'm not sure we could squeak by the Ravens again, but yeah, just chalk that up to being a little bit better of a football team than a lot of teams.
Could be organizational as well. We talked about this a little bit yesterday off air. Just like some organizations aren't run very well from the inside out. And it seems like the Chiefs have the base foundation just absolutely rock solid.
Yeah, you know about that. You're a Patriots fan.
Yeah, exactly. Same concept. From the inside out, the Chiefs and now, like the Patriots in the past had just rock solid insides. And then if things go wrong on the outside, it's like losing a few branches of the tree. Like the stem.
What do you mean by that?
What?
Rock solid insides? You've been inside?
I've not been inside the Patriots facility. That is a fact. But Chase and Hunter, we have not gone to. Yeah, okay. We've gone to you guys previously for NFL takes, and if you want to mention, pause type of questions, type of statements, that's Chase's MO. We'll go to him first. What are you looking at AFC wise here? Obviously, Ravens probably the biggest contender to the Chiefs, in my opinion, solely because of the Bills being unable to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. I think the Bills are a much better team. And by much better, I mean by like 0.01 as opposed to 0.001, as tight as it is in the NFL. But outside of Chiefs, Bills, and Ravens, is there anyone else we need to be looking at here, Chase?
I would say no, to be frankly honest with you.
No Steelers?
No, they have a solid defense, but that offense is just too streaky. And if they have a game where they have an off game, they're not going to put up more than 12 points.
We get a preview of that on Christmas Day, streaming on Netflix.
We
Chiefs
do.
Steelers.
Yeah, is Netflix going to handle it? They're going to be good?
I sure hope so.
No, absolutely not. It's going to crash.
100%.
I don't know.
Do you think there'll be more volume than that than the boxing match?
No.
Probably not.
It's on
Definitely
Christmas
not.
Day, though.
It's Christmas Day, though.
Yeah.
Is it a solo
no.
game? There's probably nothing going on at that time either.
But
On
think,
Christmas Day?
People are opening
People are going
presents.
to try to have it on in the background at least.
Yeah.
People are
yeah, but
getting
there's going to
laid
be
smoking
40
weed.
people watching one TV versus
That's a good
That is
point,
true.
actually.
everybody watching it separately.
That is a good point.
Because Netflix doesn't know how many eyes are on a TV. They only know how many TVs are going.
And I think
Right.
it'll be more eyes, less TVs.
Oh.
And think about like all the bars and stuff like that
All the
like,
SAG
are
Aren't
going to
people.
be closed.
Yeah.
Oh. Are
They
bars
have to
closed on
make an
Christmas?
adjustment though, because after that boxing dilemma, that was
Debacle.
Yeah.
bad.
They
That
have
was
to be
No,
prepared.
dive bars. Dive
So
bars
they
can't
should be
closed on
prepared.
Christmas. That's almost like a mandatory date. They have to be open.
I feel like it'd be cool to go to a bar on Christmas.
Alcoholics don't take a day off, man.
Like Christmas night.
Oh, I was thinking like anytime, really. We open
I was
our
thinking
presents
like
Christmas
like
Eve.
6
so.
o'clock
Ooh.
Christmas night.
What about like 3 p.m.?
That would be. I don't think there'd be anybody in there. I don't think
Be
there'd
the
be.
best.
It would be funny.
Yeah, yeah. That got off topic for sure. But if anybody's here gonna be here, gonna be in a bar on Christmas Day, I think we all know who that would be. Hunter, AFC wise, do you have a pick coming out of there? Is it the Chiefs like everybody else, or what do we? I mean, the playoff picture is yet to be completely solidified. The Texans have won the AFC South. Chiefs won the West. Bills have won the East. Those are, per what I'm looking at this second, clinched. The AFC North still up for grabs, with the Steelers absolutely having gotten into the playoffs. That is another piece of that. None of those other 3 teams have won the division or are guaranteed a spot. What could shake up that AFC playoff picture? And then do you have the Chiefs as well?
I have the Chiefs as well. If it's not like a good, I have the Chiefs. I don't know what I'm saying, but the AFC Championship, I think the Bills might fall to some random ass team, like maybe like the Broncos or something. Like the Broncos might have something to say about it. If they meet them in the playoffs, that would be like the one team that they would lose to. I can't see any other team except for like the Ravens putting up a fight. But with that being said, that's how I have it. Chiefs on the other side of the ball, winning it all, unless the Bills are there. They might give some sort of inclination, but I think it'll still be a last minute Butker field goal unless he's out for the season.
Yeah,
The Bills' defense is bad is the problem here.
but
That's
their
big
offense
downfall.
is very good.
Yes, it
Vince
is.
is
Yes.
broken. It's just points.
unbelievable. And this is the last question
Josh
I'd like to
Allen.
pose AFC
Pissing me
wise.
off.
Yeah, AFC wise here. We
How
had
do
this
you-
question
I've
yesterday.
lost 2 games in fantasy. Sorry, continue. It'll be my 0.
Okay. Okay. Glad we got that in. Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs was like one of the biggest drama stories last year. And then obviously they traded him to the Texans. No Amari Cooper. They bring in Amari Cooper, but no Stephon Diggs this year. Is the Bills' offense better without a true number 1 wide receiver? We can go around the horn here and get some points, or however you guys want to approach this. I don't care. I'll ask you first, Cole, though, because you'll be potentially facing them in the playoffs. Is this team better without a true dominant number 1 diva wide receiver?
That's a great question that I haven't put a lot of thought into. Right off rip, I got to say no. I mean, if you got a Stephon Diggs on your team, not this year, but more when he was in his prime with the Bills, I think you're better off. I mean, I think that you can compare them to the Chiefs of past years. Like, I wouldn't say we're a better offense now that we don't have Tyreek. So I think if you have a good wide receiver 1, it almost diverts more from some other guys that are talented. So I'm going to say no.
Yeah, you'd have to think. Like, the concept is if you have a better guy, either he's going to get more plays made, like he's going to be better at football, or he'll draw the defense towards guys that are still capable football players.
Right.
That's the concept, but we haven't seen it in practice. Chase, your thoughts on the Bills potentially being better with a bunch of number 2s?
I think it's just Stephon Diggs, really. He's kind of like that diva receiver, and he was just begging for the ball and putting out that he needs the ball, which I think it kind of lifts something off the locker room where you don't have a guy like that. And it probably brings a little bit of a better cohesive offense when you don't have to have a guy who's, I need the ball, I need to get targets. Now they just kind of go to the best option in the play, and Josh Allen does a really good job of that, whether it's him with his legs or hitting an open receiver. So I do think it is a better offense without him. We are seeing it this year, and maybe that's because Diggs wasn't as good as he should have been because he's kind of old and washed up now.
It's kind of old.
And so that would be my take on it.
Interesting.
I think that it'd be more clear too if you had a guy that was more team centric, like a Jefferson
Right.
or a
Yes,
Jamar
completely
Chase,
agree.
who are happy when Jordan Addison or T. Higgins pop off.
Right.
Completely agree.
Yeah, well, and to piggyback off of Chase's whole wanting the ball more, perfect segue, NFC Eagles. A.J. Brown wanted the ball a lot more, gets a touchdown, goes right in front of the whole team. Hey, Jalen Hurts, you're my guy. We are kudos good. We are all capiche now. Everyone look at us. We are fine. I mean, however you want to go about it, I guess that is kind of something that just happens. But the Eagles are undeniably very good at football. Eagles fan, Sir Alex Redden, are the Eagles winning the NFC? Because it's first 10-game win streak in program history. What has it been? 91 years. They haven't won 10 games in a row. This team might be different with Saquon, A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts. What makes this team different? Are they winning the NFC?
Yeah, this team's built offensively extremely well. Defensively, they're on the young side. They've kind of over the past 3 years been working on building up their defense through the draft, and their draft strategy has just been draft Georgia players, which, believe it or not, pans out pretty well in the NFL.
Yeah.
So they've really nailed that draft strategy down. This team, when you compare it to the team from 2 years ago that played the Eagles in the Super Bowl, they're built eerily very, very similar. They have a little more star power now, yes. Yes, they have Saquon now, and that changes things. But to me, their offensive line is significantly older now. They've lost Jason Kelce, one of the best centers maybe to ever play the game. So to me, up front, they're not quite as strong as what they used to be. They've just been living off the fact that they have a ton of star players, and they've been all healthy. When you look at the Eagles' starting lineup, pretty much everybody's healthy. Yes, A.J. Brown's missed some time. Devontae Smith's missed a game here or there. But Jalen Hurts is healthy. Saquon's healthy. That's going to be a tough run game to stop. So I think that there's a chance they get it done this year. To me, I think the NFC wins this Super Bowl if it's the Chiefs. If it's the Bills, then I think it gets interesting. But the Chiefs, they're going to have to go through a gauntlet probably in the AFC.
Yeah.
If they had an easier path, then I could see them winning it. But they're going to have to play 3 top 5 teams in a row. And I just statistically, even though it is Patrick Mahomes, don't like the odds of them getting it done. So maybe the Eagles are that team that does it.
Interesting. Yeah. The NFC is it's a weird bracket when you're looking at it, because the AFC seems to be really, really loaded. But teams like the Eagles and maybe the Lions before they kind of went through this whole injury bug, which has been all year. I'm not saying this is as of late, but I feel like they may have crossed the threshold for it to become a major, major problem. I'm looking at this, I don't know what you call this, graph of all the teams. Nobody has clinched their division yet in the NFC. Seems like it's a bit of a tighter race, but with some very, very good teams in there. Cole, who are you most, if the Chiefs were to make the Super Bowl, who would be the one team that you're ooh, we don't want to see them? Is it the Eagles?
I don't want to play either of them, to be honest with you. It's going to be inevitable if we make it. I'm really afraid of the Lions, but like Redden was talking with the Eagles O-line, it seems like that 92% is going down a little bit this year.
Yeah.
I just think the Lions have a little more firepower, but they are injured right now, though.
Very
which is
beat up.
another thing to consider. I don't know. It's a toss-up. It'd suck to play both.
Yeah, well, the NFC definitely has to play in the Super Bowl. So if the Chiefs make it, they'll have to play an NFC team.
This is true.
That is a fact. That's how things work. Hunter, fan of the TCU Frogs. That is also a fact, as far as I know, unless things have changed. What are the colors for TCU?
A little purple and white.
Oh, purple and white. Vikings also purple and white. Are the Vikings pretty good at football, or is Sam Darnold just not a good enough quarterback to win the big one?
I don't think he can win in the big one and represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. I think it's a good team. They can make it to the NFC Championship. I don't think they're getting past that. I think it'll come down to them playing the Lions. The Eagles are going to bail out. And this might even be like last year where the Eagles just fell off and then the Cowboys won the division. I think this might happen again with the Commanders. A lot needs to happen, obviously. But, that division's still up for grabs, even though, the Eagles are only ahead by, 3 games?
Yes.
That ain't mean nothing. That ain't mean nothing when
There's
everybody
only 3 games left.
Yeah.
That ain't mean nothing.
Think about who the Commanders have to play in the division. They
Well,
only
probably-
play the Cowboys and the Giants, and shit don't matter when you're playing those teams. Gonna be an easy win against both of those teams. So it'll just come down to obviously the last game of the year, which is gonna be awesome.
Well, Philly and the Commanders do happen to play this week. So we're going to find out really quickly if the Commanders have any shot whatsoever.
Yeah, that would be a good indicator.
Yeah, I think it's kind of crazy that we're probably going to have 3 NFC North teams in the NFC.
That's what I was just
semis.
going to mention here. Looking at this this division, it's the only division with 3 teams over 10 wins. 10 wins or more, I suppose. Lions at 12-2, Vikings at 12-2, Packers coming in at 10-4, and then I wish we had a Bears fan here. Bears coming in at 4-10. Not looking great with their number 1 overall pick. The Packers, though, are a team that looks very surprising to me. Actually, kind of like them at this point in the season. Granted, this could be 1,000% because it is Toyotathon. That is a very real possibility here. But Jordan Love has looked very, very good. Chase, You're wearing the green. I'm gonna ask you: are the Packers good enough? Do they make any noise? Do they get into the playoffs here? What is gonna go down in Green Bay?
They're definitely good enough to make noise. I just don't think they're good enough to like make an actual push to a Super Bowl. I think they're probably a year or two out from that yet. They're still pretty young, so. But I mean, at 10-4, they're looking good. They'll probably get in. I think there will be 3 teams out of that NFC North that'll get in. But I would take them over the Vikings right now, to be honest with you.
Interesting.
But
The champion
Aaron
is
Jones.
in the NFC North. It's just a matter of which one of those is it.
Of
in my
the
opinion.
of the league, you think the league champion, the Super Bowl champion?
NFC champion.
Okay.
why are you so low on the Eagles?
Yeah, what's that about? Is this a,
don't
is this a
know.
bias
I don't know.
situation?
It's just a
Probably.
question. I'm just wondering. Because I'm high on the Eagles.
I don't think the Eagles are going to do it. I think they're just going to bail out, and I think Mark's future is going to be correct with the Commanders winning the NFC East. That's just the way I'm looking at it.
Couple things
And
have
no-
to go.
Yeah, no repeat winners in the NFC East. It's not changing this year because the Cowboys obviously aren't there. But
That's
the Eagles
insane.
do tend to fall off, and that's what's going to happen.
Well, they
have
did it
3
last
games
year.
left.
Yeah.
I don't
not
think
a
the
lot of
Eagles
time.
fall off. I think they get injured. That's what stops the Eagles. If the Eagles stay healthy for the rest of their run, I don't see how they don't make the Super
Who
Bowl.
got injured last year?
Pretty much everybody.
Yeah, they were pretty hurt.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Hurts.
pretty much everybody.
I feel like there was somebody on their team that was hurt. Go with that.
Their quarterback. That doesn't.
Someone was
ever help.
definitely Hurts.
Well, Hurts,
Hurts
it's
is
in the
hurting.
name.
Yeah, you nailed it.
It's in the name. Who was on their team that was hurt? Jalen Hurts.
Checks out.
Hurts.
Does check out. I'm looking at this here. Obviously, there's a couple teams that NFC South has to get a team in, and we talked about the Buccaneers. Actually, I'm just gonna have you do it. Can you break down the percentage of likelihood that Baker wins every round? You know what I'm
Yep.
talking about? Can
Yep.
You
I
lay it
know
out.
exactly
You lay
what
it
you're
out.
talking
I
about.
love this. We talked about this yesterday. It has to be on the air. Red, go ahead.
We had a lengthy discussion about this last night. Baker Mayfield, I think, is one of the most elite quarterbacks, most dynamic quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yep.
He's dynamic, one way or the other. There's no way to slice it. He's clutch, but he's also not clutch, which is why I have my Baker Mayfield chance of winning a playoff game per round percentages. I think if Baker Mayfield plays in a first-round game, he has around a 50% chance to win that game.
Yep.
If Baker Mayfield plays in a second-round game, I think he has around a 33% chance to win that game.
Yep.
If Baker Mayfield plays in the NFC Conference Championship game, I think there is a 0% chance that Baker Mayfield and the Bucs win that game.
Yes.
But if they didn't have to play the NFC Championship game, I think there's probably around a 60% chance that they would win the Super Bowl. I just don't think they could get to said Super Bowl. It
love
doesn't
that.
like that's just how
I
I
like
feel
it.
about this team.
I think that's
I
right
think they're
on
good enough to win it, but they're not good enough to get there.
to get to that point.
That's their issue.
Yeah.
But I think they're good enough to get right up to that game, but there's no way they win a conference championship game.
Well, and actually now you've seen it on the ticker down below. If you're listening on Spotify, I think there's like 3 of you guys. Shout out to you guys that do that. We do have a YouTube as well. On the ticker, it is written, and so it was said, or however they say that. Michael Penix Jr. is now the starting quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. Looking at this division, looking at this division, Buccaneers 8-6, Falcons 7-7. Chase, I'm sorry, your Saints at 5-9, probably out of this race.
Not eliminated yet. Not
eliminated
yet.
statistically, but neither are the Bengals. So I mean,
Don't count them out.
Now, what are we doing here, Chase? I don't know about the Saints. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
but the
backup
Falcons,
quarterback, not good.
Falcons very much have an opportunity to make a playoff push here. They play the Giants, and then the Commanders, and then the Panthers to round things out. So honestly, other than the Commanders, like that looks like 2 pretty easy wins to me. It's still the NFL, so you got to be aware of that. But I guess Chase, I'll ask you, NFC South fan, try to be as unbiased as you can here. Will the Falcons get that divisional championship then, or what's happening here? Is Penix any good?
I think they're dead.
Really?
It's so late in the year to bring in a new quarterback, and
Yeah, but Kirk threw like 8 picks and 0 touchdowns in the last 4 weeks or whatever it was.
I understand he's been playing so bad, but if he's been playing that bad and they haven't brought in Penix yet, that means Penix probably hasn't been impressing people that much in practice.
Or
is
the
how
fact
I would
that they-
look at it.
Or the fact that they
Falcons
paid.
have 3 bums. Like they're like Commanders, the only one that are going to put up a fight here. And Penix has been itching at the bone, man. He's been ready. He's been scratching at the walls for 14 weeks. He's like, give me the pigskin. I want to toss some leather at some helmets and make some touchdowns.
Tell him.
It could also be, part of the who's playing what, when, where, and why. One, Penix, a little bit injury prone in college. Definitely older, but definitely injury prone. And then also the kind of elephant in the room here, Kirk Cousins signing a 4-year, $180 million contract. So that might have played a role. They're like, hey, we pay this guy all this money. We should probably find out if he's like, two bad games. We can't bench him for, what did Penix go, 8?
Yeah,
I think he went 8 or
yeah.
10, maybe 10. I don't know. Top 10 for sure.
He went top 10.
He went
Top
8. He went 8.
I thought he went 8 as well.
8th.
But either way, there, and we can talk about the Cousins thing, and it's a whole different topic of conversation. But I think that might be one thing where you look towards like, okay, why didn't they play Penix up until this point? They kind of had to evaluate what they have in Kirk. Is Penix going to sit for 4 years like Jordan Love, or is it more of a Drake May type situation? And they obviously went with the Drake May path to things. Hunter, it seems like you're a pretty big fan of Penix here. What happens if Penix comes in and plays like dog shit? Do they bench him in this year? Do they wait till the offseason? Do they? What is going to happen here? Because he is going up now against teams that are not only in midseason form, potentially, basically in postseason form. Like these are going to be very obviously playing the Giants and the Panthers, but these teams they're clicking at this point. It's no longer early in the season. He's not adjusting at the same rate they are. What's going to happen if he sucks?
Well, I don't really care about Penix that much. He just won me a good amount of money because I had him going top 10. And everybody's like, why the fuck would he go top 10 at all in the draft? Got him at plus 2,000 for like $5 on it. Made a little bit of cash.
No way.
That's why I like the kid. And he went to
That's why I like
Washington.
him.
Yeah, and he went to Washington. I love it, a good purple college school. So that's where I stand on the kid. I love Michael Penix, even though he's probably not a kid. He's like 20. I don't even know how fucking old he is.
24.
I love Kirko. I feel bad for Kirko, but it is what it is. It's how it works out. This is a business at the end of the day, and that's why they started him for 14 weeks. I like how you brought that up, Mark.
Yeah, I think the money aspect of that couldn't be ignored.
Yeah.
Talk about practice right now.
We talking about practice?
Another notorious guy, not good in practice, Allen Iverson. Look how he panned out. Penix popping off.
Word. Also, look at guys like Michael Jordan.
I think he liked practice.
I don't know. I just say he's good at basketball is what
He
my
is,
point
yeah.
was. Chase, go ahead.
So I would think the thought process through this is that with Kirk in and playing how he is, they're probably not going to be able to make a playoff run anymore. So they're probably just like, let's just throw Penix in. We have the guys right now to possibly win it. They have a ton of weapons on that offense. So, it probably can't get worse. Could it get better is probably their thought. They're only a game out of the division, so it is probably the right move and a good move if they want to make a run to the playoffs, because if you get in the playoffs, you got a chance to win it all. So
Just gotta get
it's
in the
probably
dance.
a good call.
Just
Let's
gotta
go
get in the
dancing,
dance.
baby.
The
Let's go
Buccaneers
dancing.
and the Falcons both played bumfuck teams for their last like 4 games. This is
What-
crazy. I didn't realize this.
3 games.
3 games. Bucks, what's their schedule?
Cowboys, Panthers, Saints. So it's
Hey,
That's gonna be a
like
tough one to
Cowboys
catch.
at AT&T.
Which
So think about that.
yeah, they're
That's
actually
the
worse
Suns.
there, I think.
Which we're actually 1-6 at home. So but that's
There you go.
put that in your
Oh.
fanny.
What's going on with the Cowboys this year, Hunter? Break it down before we go into Zero to Hero. What the hell happened? And also, I saw Jerry Jones saying that they're not going to spend any money this offseason. They're just going to keep the team how it is. Redden brought to my attention the take from Big Cat potentially. He's scared to move on because he's only got about like 4 more seasons left before he may just crumble into a pile of dust. He doesn't want to make the changes. He wants to just, these are the guys. These guys are going to save me. What's happening?
Well, if you change up and you get a new GM, you're not gonna like if this guy's like, hey, we need like 1 rebuilding year. Jerry's like, he's gonna be like, I don't fucking have a year. Like we need to get this shit done now. So I think that's where he's coming from.
I
on
think
that
we need to
standpoint.
get this shit done now.
Great thing about the Cowboys being 6-8 and Dak being out is that ticket sales go way down, and it makes it really easy to buy Cowboys tickets for your dad for the end of the season game at AT&T Stadium. So I was able to secure my first NFL game tickets
Wow.
because
Shout
of the Cowboys sucking. Yeah,
There you
thank
go.
you.
Shout out.
I appreciate it.
big
That's
wins.
That's a
That's a
hero.
huge win.
That is a hero type move. Big W. Or I guess what is it? Probably be better to use this guy.
Jerry
I'm using the
Jones
chat.
is also the general manager of the Cowboys, by the way. So you don't need Jerry Jones to find a new GM. You need Jerry Jones to die.
Yeah.
And then not give the team to his son.
So a rebuilding year would just be the year that Jerry's on life support. I guess that's kind of the way we're looking at things.
Yeah.
Because then it's like we're just waiting a year until he passes, and then
Jerry's just
all
trying
right,
to hold on
Jerry
to Dak
Jones
and
Jr.
Zeke.
now come into fruition and do what you've been doing your entire life, which is telling your dad what to do, and he doesn't listen. And now you can run the kingdom.
Yeah,
You're the
Jerry
key.
saw Dak and Zeke lighting it up in like 2020 or 2021, whenever it was, and he was like, "I know that's in there somewhere. We can recapture that."
I need that. Yeah.
He'll never do it. He's gonna die.
Things are not looking
I
good
think
for the
he'll
Cowboys.
die before they make the playoffs. I think
The playoffs or the NFC Championship.
playoffs.
Wow.
That's
It's
not
hard
crazy
for
to
it's
say.
hard for Jerry. I mean, when you win the NFC East last year and you go 12-5, it's hard to not be like, these are the dudes. You know what I mean?
I mean,
You'd think you'd realize it
Potentially.
at some point, though. He's been doing that with, these are the guys for. I mean, Romo was literally Dak Prescott before Dak Prescott.
CeeDee Lamb's, Des Bryant.
They were just never gonna
Yeah.
win with those guys.
yeah. Well, Cowboys suck. End of story. I don't know how else to put it. I don't expect them to make the playoffs. I guess before Jerry Jones dies. I don't
Yep.
hate that take at all. I think that's going to wrap up the NFL, though. So it's time for Zero to Hero, which is probably the best segment that this show has, arguably. Red, would you like to go first?
Sure.
I'll turn it over to you. This is a big one. Our first zero of the week.
Yeah, my first zero of the week is one, Travis Hunter, and two, people who voted for Jesus. Now I'm even combining the words. That's disgusting. Travis Hunter to win the Heisman. Travis Hunter was rated. I'm pulling up the numbers here. Travis Hunter is PFF's worst graded Heisman in PFF's entire existence.
Wow.
PFF put out this stat like showing the highest graded Heisman seasons. It shows Travis Hunter appearing to be in like the top 10. So you're like, oh, that's pretty good. Well, that's just the entire list. Like that's the extent of it. So yeah, it looks like he's top 10, but in reality, he's just last.
Oh.
Ashton Genty, had he won the Heisman, would have had the highest PFF grade of any Heisman winner.
Oh.
He would have had the most efficient season, the best seasons, like on a statistical. I don't know exactly how PFF grades them, but he would have been the best, whereas Travis Hunter was the worst.
Not very good.
I think that just says something to what's going on in the mainstream media right now.
Well, I think more than anything, this almost proves that G5 guys can't win the Heisman.
Exactly. It's disgusting.
You cannot win the Heisman as a G5, especially not as a running back. And we'll get into more of those awards here. I know we will before the end of this zero segment. So, yeah. Ashton Genty not winning the Heisman hit me in more ways than one as like just, what are we doing?
It was crazy.
I didn't like that at all. And I'm a
Made
Big
sense
12
to
guy.
me.
What? Made sense?
Yeah. Oh, huge sense.
I'm going
Dude,
to
when
need
you
you to
got a
explain
guy-
how important snaps are in your mind here, because obviously they're extremely important then, because that's really all he did was play a lot of snaps.
Yeah, I mean, he played a lot of snaps. You know, he had. I'm looking at stats here. I'm just saying he won an
Yeah, I
award.
wouldn't look
for
at the
nation's
stats if you
top
want
Don't
to.
look
receiver.
at stats.
Yeah, I wouldn't look at stats if you're picking him.
All right, I'm not a stat ninja then. I'm not going to be a stat warrior and die on that hill. I'm just saying it's pretty impressive when somebody plays both sides of the ball and is still talked about like in the hemisphere as like, oh damn, this guy can do both sides. It's like that's fucking sick. And obviously Dion was the one that basically gave him this Heisman. Is like he's like, here, you're gonna be the first D1 player that can play both sides of the ball. But I don't know. It's just it's tough. It's tough. There's got to be guys in JUCO playing both sides of the ball. Where's their Heisman? You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Why, if I think Chase, you're the one that brought this up. If Travis Hunter is the Heisman, then why isn't Taysom Hill the MVP?
Exactly.
Yeah.
If it's just about how many different positions you can play and how many snaps you can accumulate and be mediocre.
Dan Skipper, one of the top-rated tackles in the league, also has a
Touchdown
receiving
catch,
touchdown.
yep.
Boom, MVP.
One.
Exactly.
What are we? That to me was just I did not like
Taysom
that at all.
Hill, he only pops off though like 3 games out of the year. You know,
And Travis Hunter doesn't
It's a
pop off.
hypothetical.
Travis Hunter didn't have a game this year that was like, oh,
What
yep.
was his
the last
Heisman
game
moment?
of the year.
Oh,
When they won, like,
started
56-0.
blatantly stat padding against like Northern Colorado.
Oklahoma State.
Yeah,
I do
it's
have
like,
a thought process on this.
Go ahead,
I
Chase.
would like to
What's your
share.
thought process?
Yeah, let's hear it.
So my thought process is Travis Hunter. I think he's replaceable, believe it or not.
Yeah.
He plays two sides of the ball, but I think you could find a DB that can replace him and play just as well. I think you can find a receiver that can replace him and fit the role fine. But then when you go to Ashton Genty, where's the running back in the nation that can replace him and bring Boise State to the college football playoff? There just simply isn't one besides maybe Caleb Johnson or Cam Scatterbo. But I
Cam
don't
Scatterbo,
think,
yeah.
either of them probably can't take that team to the playoff. And then I look at it the other way, where if you put Travis on Boise, they don't make the playoff. They're probably 6-6 or something like that. And then if you put Genty on Colorado, they're definitely
Nuts.
a playoff team in my opinion.
They're nuts.
I think they're a contender for the national championship.
You put Genty
So
on
that's-
any Power 5 school, Power 4.
Honestly, well, not any.
We'll see.
I would go so far as to say basically any Power 4 school.
They definitely make the playoff, I think. He carried that team to the playoff, to a 3 seed in the playoff.
A first round bye.
But-
Unbelievable.
Not good enough to win Heisman, but he did win the National Player of the Year, which I saw a stat in the last 8 of 10 seasons. The National Player of the Year wins the Heisman. Kind of weird that he doesn't win it this year. They're just handing Travis all these awards too. He won like 7 awards this year. First off, he did not deserve the best receiver in the nation. That was Nick
Absolutely
Nash
not.
deserved that.
That was my zero,
It-
but yeah.
Oh, it's my
No,
fault.
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
My
Go ahead.
sincere
I'll just
apologies.
hit on it harder. Go ahead.
But 7 awards is ridiculous. He just didn't deserve it. Yes, he is an outstanding player. He makes a huge difference. He'll probably go top 2 in the draft. But I will also like to mention there's high school players that play both sides of the ball, and they don't get recognition for this. They play
I-
every snap, and I think it was ridiculous. But Genty deserved it. Snubbed. No running back can win it again. If they ever win it again, it deserves to go to Ashton Genty. Just give him the trophy instead.
There was a couple games there where I played offense, defense, and special teams in multiple ways, multiple
sides
different
of the
special
ball.
teams. And guess what happened?
Heisman.
I got benched because it's not about the number of plays. Like it's literally about how good are you on the field. I didn't like that take at all. So very good zero for the week here. Red. Cole, who's your zero?
Yeah, my zero this week is my 2-12 fantasy team. You know, last week we didn't even get to play a game because we weren't in playoff contention. However, we drop a season high 175 points when it doesn't matter.
Ooh.
So
There you go.
that's my zero for the week. Greatest 2-12 fantasy team ever. But my hero this week is
No,
Hollywood
no. We
Brown.
don't go there yet. That's
We'll
right.
go to the zeros.
Sorry.
We'll do all the
Sorry.
zeros. We'll come back around. Sorry.
Jeez, Cole.
I can't find the second. I'm distracted. I can't find the guy who plays second. So Chase, if you can find the guy who plays second for the
Play
Billetnikov,
second in what?
the Billetnikov, the
Is-
wide receiver,
Yeah.
Was it
Um,
not Nate
Probably
Nash?
Nick Nash.
Nate
It should have been
Nash,
Nick
yeah.
Nash.
Nick, Nate. Yeah, we'll get to him in a second. I could not find it anywhere. I'm looking all over the internet
leads-
here.
Well,
Yeah,
he
we'll just do
leads
it. We'll just do it
every
right now.
receiv- We'll do
He's
it
a
now.
fucking triple crown winner and doesn't win the
Yes.
national. What are we talking about? Unbelievable. Because Travis Hunter played DB makes him a good wide receiver?
Nope. Turns out it doesn't.
It's just ridiculous.
We touched
It
on
really
Travis
is.
Hunter already. That's kind of my zero, so
If-
we'll wrap that up. But yeah.
If Boise State loses like their first playoff game, then I think we have to go with Travis was the clear winner.
No.
Clear Heisman.
I refuse
Absolutely
to
not.
believe that. No.
Because
Okay.
Travis is not playing in a playoff game. He's just not. It's just that simple.
And also the whole
He
idea
didn't want to
that-
play in the bowl game.
The idea that he's doing something that's never been done before. Charles Woodson literally won a Heisman.
Jabril Peppers.
All right.
Jabril Peppers existed, didn't win a Heisman. He's the 15th best wide receiver, and he probably is a top 3 corner. Very good cornerback.
Good corner.
But
yeah.
they don't give out Heismans for being a good cornerback and a mediocre receiver. That's just not a thing. If Jamar Chase
If
wanted
Hutch-
to play both ways,
Hutch
in
could have been a
college-
tight end, and you could say the exact
Here's the
same
thing about Travis Hunter, though. The thing about Travis Hunter is he had to go to Jacksonville State because Deion was the only coach that was going to let him play both ways. He had offers at Georgia and Florida State. They only wanted him to play DB. So he went and played down at a HBCU with Deion for a couple of years. Sure, and Deion let him play because that's also what Deion kind of wanted to do, and he always thought that that was kind of the cool thing to do. So Hunter wasn't even going to be allowed to play receiver at the Division I level if it weren't for Deion.
Yeah.
Think of all the guys who haven't been allowed to play both ways at the Division I level, who, if you asked them to, gladly would have done it.
And
Think
would have
about
been
like
able to.
Jamar Chase. Imagine if he
yeah.
wanted to play both ways, and then his coach would allow him to play both ways in college.
Josh Allen would have been a hell of a linebacker.
It would have been. There's so many guys that could have been great both ways. They just chose not to do it because career path wise, it's proven to not be the best and smartest thing to do.
And normally,
Seems
you
pretty
don't
smart
get
to me
shit
when you win the
for it.
Heisman, but yeah.
The other thing about the receiver award, too, is if you want to disregard what school they're at or say that that's not something that you can have and still win the award like Nick Nash, are you saying Travis Hunter's better than both of the guys on Ohio State or any of the those others great receivers
Yeah.
that played in any other playoff teams?
Yeah.
I think Travis Hunter would be the wide receiver 3 in Ohio State.
If
I
he
think
even
he-
made the
It's
field.
got to be a
think he'd
stamina issue. I don't know where their stamina lies.
Yeah. So
It's like if you take the wide receiver one from Georgia, would he be able to just turn around and play the secondary side of the ball like immediately?
why are we?
I guess
But
so.
Travis
If
Hunter,
Travis
why
Hunter
go
could
to
do
Georgia
it.
and play.
That doesn't even make sense.
How does that not make sense?
Because Travis Hunter is unable to play on the offensive side of the ball for them. He's not good enough. So it completely negates the point. Is he a better corner than the other corner? Okay, maybe for sure, but could you make the argument that their corner can't play offense? Okay, well, neither could Travis Hunter. He's not good enough. He's literally not a very good wide receiver.
Will
This is the
Johnson, the
replaceability
top
factor.
DB in the country, I'm very confident that if you put him on Colorado, he could do the exact same thing Travis Hunter did at receiver.
What
Like,
about Ryan Williams?
Yeah.
That guy
Ryan Williams-
torched Georgia
Yeah.
at the end of the fourth quarter. I think he has plenty of stamina. Better receiver, too.
Yeah,
That's
I am
valid.
actually stunned that you are backing Travis Hunter like this because,
It is kind of crazy.
He's not
I
even
just
a
wanna
top
say-
25 receiver.
yeah, he's not.
I just want to see what's going to happen in the Fiesta Bowl. If
What is this
Ashton
Fiesta Bowl you keep
Genty-
referencing?
Also, why does
the
it matter?
Boise State's playing in the Fiesta Bowl against either Penn State or SMU. If Ashton Genty gets stuffed by either one of those conferences, you guys can't say shit because it was a Mountain West issue, and that's why
They
has to
almost
be
beat
He did it
Oregon.
against
They
Oregon.
lost by 3 points to the Oregon Ducks, number 1
We will
seed.
He went
see.
for
We will see.
203 touchdowns against Oregon.
Oregon was early. It was an early Oregon team.
Well,
And
Hunter,
Redbone,
let me
you
ask you
can't
this.
say shit about that. You've
Hunter.
always been like, oh, that was an early Notre Dame team. They weren't ready for NIU. You say shit
No,
like that all the
I
time.
think Notre Dame should be penalized for losing to NIU.
yeah, 100%.
Word.
So don't put factually incorrect words in my mouth.
A&M, sorry. A&M
At least when you
lost to
repeat
Notre
them,
Dame
repeat them
because-
correct, so that way you can be correct as well.
Hunter, let me ask you this.
Mhm.
Are these season awards, pay close attention to the words I use right there, are these season awards based on one game or not?
No, they're based off of conference, and I think
They're
that's how it
based
should be
off
based
of the
off
season.
conference.
That's like, so that's where the issue lies. You think it's based on the conference?
I think that Ashton Genty, if you put him against an SEC defense, he would not be averaging what 6.5 or 7
So-
yards per
So
carry.
the statement you just made perfectly ties up what I said when we talked about Travis Hunter and Nick Nash.
Word.
Put a bow on it. G5 players cannot win these awards anymore because the argument will be made that they can't do it at the higher level, but they literally have not had the chance to prove it. So it doesn't matter if you get the Triple Crown. Doesn't matter if you almost break Barry Sanders' record. You can't do it in the Power 5 because you're not in the Power 5. So
Valid.
that is literally the only way that comes out. And it sucks that Travis Hunter won it. And Ashton Genty saw the run into that. The tight end, not from Penn State, the one that got second, was a way better tight end than the Penn State tight end.
Bowling
Nick
Green
Nash.
tight end.
Bowling Green, yeah, like we saw it
Tyler
all.
Warren's
That's
a
debatable.
dog.
He's
He
crazy.
is.
We saw it
He's
all
nuts.
across the award ceremony, and it was just clear as day. If you are not in the Power 4, good luck.
Yeah.
Very, very.
Tyler
good.
Warren should have won Heisman because he plays quarterback, fullback, tight end, wide receiver. He plays it all too.
Bang,
He plays multiple positions.
bang.
I would argue
Give
he
him
had
the
a better
Heisman.
argument than Travis Hunter. I think
All
if he
right,
wasn't
we're
playing for
getting-
prime, Travis Hunter would not have won Heisman.
he wouldn't have even been a wide receiver.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He needed a specialty coach that probably shouldn't even be a coach, but that's
Has a DP ever won the Heisman?
Charles
I guess
Woodson
Desmond Desmond
and
Chelsea.
Desmond Howard.
Wow.
Okay,
Did he
Chase,
win it though? I don't know. I'm sorry.
Desmond Howard did, yeah.
you're good. We've got a little bit fired up, a little off track. Let's zone it back in. 2 more zeros, 3, I guess 2 more because we knocked out mine. 2 more zeros to go. What do we got here, Chase?
My zero is the transfer portal because it's too goddamn complicated. There's too much shit happening in it. Who knows what's going on? And it starts way too early. We see Penn State's backup quarterback going into the transfer portal just because he has to. He's literally forced to because teams are filling up their quarterback spot with other guys. And if he stays to go on this playoff run with them, which he wanted to do, he came out and said his dream was always to play for Penn State. He wishes he could stay. It breaks his heart to leave, but he just simply has to. Could be a future Hawkeye, by the way.
You guys do great with transfer Big Ten quarterbacks.
Yeah.
It's
schools
worked
who
out really
didn't
well.
want anymore.
It worked out really well for us one time, but
What was that one time?
Yeah, who was that?
Not no diss, just
it
curious.
didn't work out well for us. But that's it. We only did it once.
So you don't like the transfer portal because Iowa sucks at it? Is that what you're saying?
No,
Yep.
I don't like the transfer portal because I think it's ruining college football. Kinda, it's like a huge free agency.
Okay.
You
It
go.
made college football. We
you
would
go-
never know who Baker Mayfield is if the college or if the transfer portal didn't exist.
I think that's simply not true. But
All 4 Heisman finalists were transfers.
I also think that what Hunter just said is like kind of the opposite of true. You would
Last
never
year,
know
too.
if like a JJ. Did JJ walk on? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
I have
There's-
no idea. I choose to pay
There's
no attention.
a couple
to him.
JJ
huge.
McCarthy?
No, JJ Watt.
Oh.
I don't think he
I think
walked.
he
If
might
you
walk.
never
One
get
of the
your
Watt brothers
chance, you
walked.
never
I think
know.
it was TJ.
There
I
will
just
be
think it.
hardly any walk-ons anymore. This is almost eliminating the walk-on program.
Well, it's already starting to eliminate the walk-ons because they brought the college roster down to 104 from the 126 or something it was. I don't know the exact numbers on it, but now guys are big schools are going to go out and look for transfers. Guys that are already established in the college game, have a year under their belt, have proved worth to a team, and they're going to go get them instead of getting these high school guys. You're not going to see the walk-ons are dying. They're just not going to be walk-ons anymore.
10 years from now, there will
America runs on walk-ons.
Agreed. But it will no longer be a thing in a very short amount of time. We can go around the room a little bit here. Hunter, who's joining your team through the transfer portal here? What's going on?
Oh, I don't know about anybody in the transfer portal. I just know that a long snapper got picked up for TCU from Northwestern. Dude was like, you know what? I hate the cold, but I love wearing purple, so let me just move from Chicago down to DFW. And that's his whole thing. I don't know who the fuck was on TCU's recruiting platform, and they go, oh my God, this Northwestern long snapper is a steal. We need to get this guy immediately. This is the first time I'm ever hearing about a long snapper in the transfer portal who was able to get a scholarship at another school.
He got a scholarship?
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane.
He's not a walk-on. We haven't had tryouts yet. So he just got offered.
It's awesome. Oh, we don't need to go around the room any further. I just wanted to hear that one. That's for sure. Hunter, who's your zero this week?
Oh, my zero. So unlike Cole being 2-12, I am 12-2 in my work fantasy football league. That means I'm the number 1 seed playing some pud who's 8-5. I've never even seen this guy around the office, right? With that being said, he has Josh Allen. It is the playoffs, and I have been dropping 140. He has consistently throughout his entire season dropped 120, and then sure enough, Josh Allen just decides, you know what? I feel like I just need to drop 50 points against one of the best teams in the NFL. And so that way Hunter can lose in his fantasy football league for that week. It's the fucking playoffs. We can't be playing with this bullshit. The other 2 teams scored 110. I would have easily beat the other 2 teams, but never mind. No, I'm playing the 4 seed who has Josh Allen slinging the rock for 45 fucking points. Dude, I digress.
Talk.
He's getting choked
Yeah, it's
up.
so bad. Next week, we're having a playoffs as the first round of playoffs is this week and next week. So hopefully next week, Josh Allen just can't do shit. Even though I know he will, because you know who he plays, Marv. the fucking Patriots.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Can't wait for Josh Allen to drop fucking 60 on my dome and then crush my nuts.
How much are you down by?
$50 buy-in. What?
How much are you down by at the moment?
Right now I'm down by 30. So
Bit of a hole.
if Josh Allen hit his projected, I would be down by like 1. So, but no, he had to exceed it by another 25 points. Ridiculous.
Sounds like a skill issue.
Yeah, that sounds like maybe you should have drafted
Use your
Josh
arrow.
Allen. I don't know what to tell you.
Might be a tight end issue. Might be an anything issue. I don't know.
You just need
I'm
to go
not a
back to the
coach. I'm a
drawing board.
GM, and apparently I'm a terrible one. If you go 10-2 in the regular season, and then your second loss is your first round of playoffs.
Typical
Third
Cowboys
loss.
fan.
Yeah.
Some are saying you
typical.
can't win the big one.
Some are saying that. That is. You and Jerry Jones have a lot in common. That is for sure. All right. I'll just jump into the heroes because we already eliminated my 0. I'm not upset about it. That conversation was much needed. We did not disappoint with that one. Hero for the week for me, to pick one name, Jamie Pollard, USA's hero. Some are calling him Iowa State's AD.
It's a good one.
Just signed Matt Campbell to a 8-year extension through 2032, and TJ Otzelberger. What?
You guys are turning into Kirk.
No, trust me. These two dudes, TJ Otz
They're both young.
and Matt Campbell, are the future of Cyclone Athletics. 2032. By then, I expect probably between the two programs, what do you think, 10 national championships?
Well,
Yeah,
I
this
wish
is
I wish Kevin Dresser was
James,
about 10 years
they
younger.
They break 9 wins once and sign this guy for all they're worth.
Yep. And TJ Otzelberger is a very valid signing. I mean, he took over a team that was 2-22, then makes the Sweet 16, and then makes the tournament, loses the first round, then makes the Sweet 16 again, and they win the Big 12 last year. Start off the season 9-1. That one 100%, like, get that done as soon as you can before the market goes up even higher, like, and keep him around. The Matt Campbell one, I can see what you're saying. Go 10-1, Big 12 championship appearance. I mean, he's got his whole resume is nuts. Like, let's not say it's only because of this year, but it feels like it was a little bit more like bang. Like, we saw enough bang as opposed to TJ. But either way, Jamie Pollard bringing ISU athletics to the next level. We're going to be nationally relevant. Well, we kind of were this year, but definitely next year and then the years to come. So big shout out to him. That was legendary. Red, your hero. Excuse me. We're on to heroes.
My hero of the week is Phoenix Suns owner Matt Ashiba. He has announced the new concession prices for the Phoenix Suns arena. There will be $2 hot dogs, $2 waters, $2 sodas, $2 chips, and $2 popcorns.
What's the beer?
They don't
beer?
say that. Probably $185.
Oh, dude.
That's like the $2 family
cut
menu.
those down by. They cut them down like an 1/8 of the price just to jack the beer up another 8.
Dude, I'd go into a Suns game and have 5 hot dogs for $10. Are you kidding me?
That's like actually a very good deal.
Stadium? Mercedes-Benz has like $3 beer, like $1.50 for a hot dog, maybe like $3 for a pretzel. It's awesome.
Are we seeing a transition towards cheaper
Organ board.
concessions? Is that what we're
bad's,
seeing?
how bad's AT&T, Hunter?
Oh, AT&T has pretty large prices, wouldn't you say, Marv? Well, actually, Marv didn't buy it. I bought beers for Marv, but the beers were like
They're good.
Like $12. Yeah,
I think it's
$12.
12 there red too.
Is it?
I
They were
asked
good,
the
though.
guy. I was like, because he had a bar there, and he had taps, and I go, "Oh, can I get a tap Miller Lite?" And he goes, "This isn't a Miller Lite. This is a margarita. It's margarita on tap." And I was like, "That's probably like what, $18?" And he goes, "You're dead on, kid." And then he gave me,
Wait,
so
we
he
got
has
the limes.
price, but
Got the limes from him though.
yeah, we got limes. I actually had to go to a secondary bar to get the limes, but that's beside the point.
Either way, I hope we do see a transition towards stadiums having cheaper food. I wouldn't even mind a slight increase in ticket price if I get in there and be able and I'm able to enjoy the atmosphere, like with a hot dog or a beer or whatever. If I'm paying $60 to get in, I'm not going to pay $10 for a beer. But if I'm paying $65 to get in, I've only got to pay $3 for a beer. I save $2. I mean, do the math. You know, that's what I'm saying.
Valid.
Cole, hero for the week.
Yeah, just one more point on that too. My elasticity on the ticket price is a lot higher. You can charge me twice as much for the ticket, and I won't think about it as much.
Very true.
But if you make that beer $2 and you charge me $60 more for a ticket, you're gonna make money on the deal.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I would
moving
not
forward,
even recognize.
my hero, as I already started to state, is Hollywood Brown. The guy worked really hard in his recovery. Looking great in practice this week. Patty's all fired up for him. Gonna have him back for a nice little playoff run. So I'm pumped for Hollywood Brown to join the offense.
Is Patty?
That's scary.
Patty's good. Is Patty back?
Patty, I mean, he was practicing. I don't know if he's playing this week or not. But I just saw today that he said that Hollywood's looking really good. I guess I don't know if that means he or Carson was throwing passes.
I did see that Patty was practicing. Full participant.
He'll
so.
be fine. They shot him up with like horse tranquilizers.
Yeah.
He wasn't even hurt. It was an act.
Ah.
Mm.
Showman. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess. Give me a false sense of hope. Fuck you. I don't know. about that.
Get Carson Wentz some limelight, man.
Yeah, we need Carson Wentz football bad. Just like a Jameis Winston type of like, we don't even know when you go out on the
knows?
field what's going to happen. Like, nobody knows. Oh, that is the best kind of football to watch. Chase, your hero?
I'm gonna go with this end of December time frame we have coming on, and then beginning of January, just because we have Christmas, great time, best holiday in my opinion. My birthday is celebrated at the end of this month. Not to suck my own dick or anything, but big deal. And then we have New Year's.
They suck it, man. It's your birthday.
I'm just going to shove it. Just go. You just go.
And then we have New Year's, and then also we have a great slate of college football playoffs coming on, bowl season, a lot of football, a lot of time to celebrate, hang out with family, friends. You get to see faces coming home from college that you don't get to see all of the year. So it's a great time of the year. Also, a quick shout out to Caden Weegan, All-American.
Yeah.
Quick shout out. What was the
Nope,
All-American?
All-American.
What was the, like, wasn't there something that went before the All-American there?
Quick
It was
shout
just, I mean, All-Americans are given out by different organizations.
Oh, what was the organization that gave this one out?
Football Writers of America.
Gotcha. Okay.
He also won second team by another organization. So how many did Iowa State have?
Of the FWAAs?
Of any organization to give All-Americans.
We had a couple, didn't we? Or first, or was it all teams that I saw? We should have had our whole roster. Okay, let's not get insane here.
Say that's a no.
Jaden Higgins, dog. Jalen Knoll, definitely
I
should
can
have
see
been on
Jalen
there.
Knoll being.
Jalen Noel could rank like a third team.
Look, if we're gonna hate on the Cyclones here, I don't know what this is all about. This just seems completely unfair and completely out of place. There has never been hatred toward any other team on this show than the Cyclones. That's complete
true.
bullshit. Complete
true.
bullshit. So, yes, shout out to Caden. Dog, might see him on the program here potentially at some point. Caden, I know you're watching. You always send me the videos. So shout out to you for being good at football because none of us here were quite on that level. Clearly,
Especially
we got the
Chase.
microphones. Hunter, hero for the week.
My hero. There's 3 people I hate in life. No specific order. And they're not living. Well, one of them is. It
Jerry
is
Jones.
I'm nervous.
Adolf Hitler, Osama bin Laden, and Taylor
Both good.
Swift.
Who?
Oh God, we're in trouble now.
Swift.
Oh,
Oh, I'm
so
gonna go
screwed.
solo box on this one.
I thought he said
Yeah.
Tim
The way I
Smith.
see it, my hero of the week, and I should have said this last week, but I forgot and I didn't see a headline about it till today. The Eras Tour, and I was 20 when this tour started back in March of 2023.
And how old are you now?
I am 22. I am 22.
Okay.
So started when I was 20, ends when I'm 22, is finally over. I can quit scrolling through my Instagram, seeing, oh, Taylor brought this dude out. Taylor said this. Taylor was wearing 5 sequins on her crown. This means that she's about to have a kid. Who knows? Who the fuck cares? I don't. And I'm so glad that this tour is over. And it's one of those things where you can see it now and you can finally relax. It's like a weight has been lifted off of my shoulders that this tour is finally over.
So who is your hero specifically then? Is it Taylor Swift?
It
she
is the
decided
tour
to end it.
manager. The tour manager. Oh, she decided to end it.
I don't know. I'm just saying if she decided to
thought
end it,
you
then that would
said-
mean Taylor Swift is your hero.
Taylor Swift will never be my hero.
So we're gonna go with project manager or tour manager.
Well,
Yes,
that's also
tour
probably the
manager
same
is
guy
my
that
hero.
made it 2 years though.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. and probably the guy who's pushing out a lot of those posts.
Yeah.
Who knows?
The chicken or the egg?
Yeah.
You never know.
Or, you know what's a fun thing I always think about when we do the chicken or the egg thing?
The yolk or the white?
Snoopy's doghouse.
Oh.
That doghouse is awesome. Airplane, bed,
True.
house. I mean,
How
don't
does
know
this have
why.
any relation?
I think it's because of like, you know how when people like they say if you put an egg on the top of like a roof, like which way would it fall? And then it's like chicken, egg on roof of Snoopy's house. I don't know. Just always think of that.
No, it makes sense.
I love Snoopy.
Oh my God.
Should have been my hero.
How much money do you think Taylor Swift grossed from her tour?
1.2 bill.
9 billion.
Way more than that.
What did you say, Cole?
I was gonna say like $1.5 bill was my guess.
Double
Give
it.
me-
I think you said
3 bill?
1.2. No, 2.16.
Ooh, I went 1.9. That's close.
That is good, yeah.
But she said she spent a lot of it on her crew though. She gave it back, kind of. I heard.
And on those private flights that she uses to ruin the environment.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna go there, but she did spend a lot on some gas.
And NFL advertisement time.
Yeah, does she pay for all the camera time? You
I
think?
have no idea.
Absolutely.
Because
No,
it's like
no.
it's unprecedented the amount of time she's getting.
I think
They're
it's
getting
just the
women
NFL
involved
is
in
just
football.
Terrible.
I will say though, it is kind of annoying, but I think the joy that it brings me of how much it pisses off middle-aged men far outweighs how much it annoys me. I will say it's
That's
Get
fair.
fired up.
It's
I would have to
hilarious
agree.
when I'm
get
watching a
fired up.
Chiefs game with an older guy. Taylor comes on like, "Oh God damn it, they're showing this woman again," and it just brings me joy.
Yeah,
You know,
no,
people-
that's totally fair.
People talk
I'm
about
one of those old
statistically.
guys.
Yeah, well, you kind of have the stash for it, which it's glorious. But in 10 years or 20 years, when it's all white, it's gonna look even better. Can't wait.
I
It'll
don't have a
the
mustache
full-
in 20 years.
What? We're not gonna
What?
get into
You
that.
know-
That's my 0 for our next show. Then that's much bullshit.
Word.
Anyways, so people talk about when Taylor Swift's on the screen. It's like what percentage of the show is she on the screen? It's actually a pretty small number.
Probably like 1.
Yeah, it's like it's. Actually, I mean, it feels like she's on there a lot, but I don't know if it's because it's small cuts or if it's like I don't know how it works. But she's not on there as
I wanna
much as
see
you think.
players dancing. Dude, I want to see fucking some of this shit.
Yeah.
Wait, you don't love me like I love you. I want to see some of that. I don't want
There
to
you go.
see.
That was awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Whoa. Wait.
You know what I'm saying?
Clip that.
Clip that. Yeah. Wish we were live for that. But what I was gonna say to round the show out is, I saw a reel today. Actually, today I saw this reel that measured out the percentage of time in How to Train Your Dragon that they were actually training dragons. It's like 0.8% of the movie. So that kind of was a little bit of a letdown. Great movie, but
Did you see them
That
making a
is
live
true.
action one?
and they didn't even contact us. We would have had 5 dudes here. It would have been
Training dragons?
yeah, or dragons.
It's been the dragon.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay.
Ooga.
Any last comments? Don't want to cut anyone off here. Redden.
Deuces.